said rectum. I hardly know him. Oh.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Codex Station's Comic Character of the Week. It's Thursday night. I'm your host tonight, Salad Slab Guy. Joining me as always is Chris, the Minister of Sinister. Down below him is Dan Kelly. I'm not going to say that tagline for right now. I'll let you say that later. And of course, the Ric Flair of comics right below me.
Hello, Mobius.
Hey, Mobius.
Mobius.
Across the pond. How you doing, brother?
Good, nice of you to join us tonight. Well, tonight we're talking about Blue Beetle. Garrett, you have no action figure for us? There we go.
There
Thank
he
you.
is.
My God. Jeez. There we go.
That's several to choose from. He's got it tatted.
Wow.
Yeah, you ought to see who Chris has tatted on his ass.
I'm not
Show
going to.
Chris. Show
Heavy
Chris.
flow.
No,
Heavy
we're
flow.
not doing that. Well, come on. There we go.
If it's a character tattooed on your ass, wouldn't it be Moon Knight?
Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Dan.
It's a sarlacc.
There we go.
It's a sarlacc pit with the teeth and everything.
Yes.
It's Moon Dragon.
Moon Dragon. This is not Fing Fang Boom.
Fing Fang
Yeah.
Boom.
I was going to say, whenever he goes to the bathroom, it's Fing Fang Boom.
There you go. Yeah. Dropping the boom.
Nope. No
So
more
you
Taco
guys-
Bell.
Taking
My
a break
shirts
from
are legendary.
taking a detour from comics for just a second for some very important let's say topical news. Have you guys heard about this Afro Man lawsuit with the police department where he's at?
Yeah.
No.
So apparently, I guess he matched the description of somebody that had like kidnapped some kid or something. So the SWAT team goes and raids his house and it's not like a, knock at the door, let us come search it, like kicking in doors, going through there, checking everything, all the everything. Yeah. And of course, he is rich and famous, so he has a security system around the house. So they do all this and like, oh, wrong guy, whatever. So they leave. But there was a lemon pound cake that was on his kitchen counter that his mother had made him. And he sees in the security footage that one of the cops sees the pound cake and takes it, seizes it for evidence. He takes the pound cake and eats it. So Afro Man, being a famous musician, starts writing songs about it. And he writes a song about this cop taking his pound cake. I don't think he names the cop in the song. He just calls him like Officer Pound Cake. But he uses the security footage.
That's my stripper name.
Lemon pound cake.
Officer Pound Cake.
But he uses the security footage in the music video for this, where he's singing about this cop stealing the lemon pound cake that his mother made for him.
Wow.
And apparently the cops' kids are getting bullied at school, and he's getting bullied, and his wife's getting bullied at work. My wife was saying like she might, she thinks that she lost her job or something, all this. So they sue Afro Man for defamation. And he wins the case because you came into my house and stole my shit. But if you look up the video of him in court, he's wearing this like obnoxious American flag suit that he's like wearing into court. And of course he's Afro Man, so he's already got the big
It's
fro and all that.
fantastic.
And you listen to the song, and the song is pretty good, pretty funny too. And it's just like, as the world is just falling apart around us, at least there's just still a bit of ridiculousness out there that can make you laugh and not make you just weep.
I like that.
But look up, like, just go on YouTube after the show, of course. Go on YouTube and look up like Afro Man yellow pound cake or Afro Man pound cake. It's hysterical.
Be careful looking up just yellow pound
Never
cake.
touch another man's pound cake.
Yeah. Also, speaking of songs, Kurt, who we all know and love, Kurt and his band just they're releasing their album in a couple weeks.
Nice.
And they released a teaser single, and he's posted on his Facebook page, and I posted it on mine. The song is pretty awesome. So, guys,
Okay.
so listen to it. Like I said, go to Opie Taylor, and you can see it, and you can see that song, and it is great. I mean, wow, I've never heard any of his music before, because it's been a while since he's played, but they recorded this album last year at his house, and wow, it's good.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm on the album. I played Triangle.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you played castanets.
Yeah. Ding. Every once in a while. Ding.
Thing.
And you're good at it. All right, cool. Well, you guys want to jump into the show and get this thing rolling?
Certainly.
All right, let me go over here, and there we go. All right, folks, we will see you in about 15 seconds. That play right for you guys?
It was pretty quick.
I know, but it looked like it looked like it froze on my side.
I just saw a quick little beetle glimpse, and then here we are.
Okay, that's interesting.
It was quick. It was like a member of the high school band having sex for the first time
With himself.
Stop that. Hey, Alpha, welcome back. It's Thursday night. It's Comic Character of the Week.
Welcome.
Hey,
We're talking about Blue Beetle. Yep, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Glad you're here. That's great. Dan, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with the intro with this guy?
All right. Well, he first appeared in Captain Atom issue 83 in November 1966, created by the legendary Steve Ditko. And he has kind of two origins. He has this main origin that he has, and then they kind of retconned it later, and I don't know if they've gone back to the original. I think they've gone back to the original origin. I hate when DC did all this shit where they're like, oh, we're going to change these characters' origins and then just eventually go back to the original ones. Yeah.
Why change it? Why change it?
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll get ready to learn there, Sizzle Chest. And don't get any eyes for that figure that Gary's got.
Don't get any what?
And don't answer your door.
Oh, he's not getting that. I've already alerted the authorities. They're on it.
So Blue Beetle, real name is Ted Cord, was a former student of Dan Garrett, who was the original Blue Beetle. And he is also, his family had a big R&D company that his father started and he ran. And he asked Garrett to help him investigate his Uncle Jarvis, not the butler for the Avengers.
Or was it?
Hey, what's up, Mr. Keith?
Hey, Mr. Keith, welcome.
Because Ted had been helping him on a project, and then he supposedly, there was an explosion, and his uncle supposedly died, but Ted suspected that he didn't. And they went to this, traveled to this place called Pago Island, and found that his uncle was still alive and was creating an army of androids that he was going to use to take over the Earth. So Garrett and Ted didn't know that Garrett was Blue Beetle. He just went to him because he was had been a student of his. It was very shaky. The relationship between them. They could have fleshed that a bit more. So they go to Pago Island. They get captured. Garrett turns into the Blue Beetle so that he can, fight off these androids. And in the battle, Ted's uncle dies, but Dan Garrett also dies and passes on the mantle of Blue Beetle to Ted. Gets him to agree, not to let Blue Beetle die. But the cave collapses before he can get the scarab. So he has to be a hero without it. So he trains himself. He's already got all the R&D stuff. Builds himself the big, all of his gadgets, his big beetle ship, and then becomes the Blue Beetle. In the retconned origin, he has no affiliation with Dan Garrett. He is the head of Cord Industries, which is, the company that he inherited from his father, like in the regular Origin. And he turns it to his R&D company, turns it to a scientific research company. And then he just decides that he's going to become a superhero named the Blue Beetle and joins the newly reformed Justice League. And I believe eventually they did go back to his original origin. Powers, he doesn't have any powers. He's an Olympic level acrobat, expert hand-to-hand fighter, genius level intellect, and creates all of the gadgets and stuff that he has, and pretty good pilot for flying his giant beetle ship.
Very cool.
Yes,
that's for sure.
All right, very cool. So let's go ahead and jump to our first segment of the night and what scenarios work best. And since Chris, this was your character for your character of the week, why don't you go first?
Well, every scenario that he's with Booster Gold is always good. Anytime Blue and Gold are out there, causing hijinks and the craziness that usually follows any of their adventures, it's always a good time. I also like it when he's not played so much as a joke. When they look at the serious side of him, because this guy is a true hero, and he's just I think an awesome character. He's my favorite because he, to me, is the heart and soul of DC for comic geeks. He's a big nerd like the rest of us. He has the same foibles we have. Hell, he had to wear a girdle for a while because he got
yeah.
And he had heart problems. He had a heart attack, when he was in the middle of a battle. I mean, he is the true everyman of the spandex crowd.
And he was expanding that spandex.
Yeah.
He was working that spandex.
But yeah, I love it. I love it when he's with Booster Gold, and that's a friendship that is one of the best and deepest friendships in all of, I think, comicdom, if there's such a word.
There is.
All right, very good. I'll go next, and I gotta have to agree with your points. I think he works best with Booster. I liked it. His stuff on his own was still good, but the banter between the two of them was like work. And the closest thing I could come to it is Wonder Man and Beast as a friendship type situation. So I like the gadgets. I was digging the Blue Beetle ship too, to tell you the truth. I did a lot of reading, and I like the Blue Beetle ship as well. But
ship is cool.
Yeah, the ship is pretty cool.
The bug.
It is.
You think about it, the bat plane can fit one or two people in it. The bug, that can fit a bunch of people. It can fit the whole team.
It's like it's like a transport.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. So I like the gadgets, but I think I like best with just him and Booster. I think there was another series where it was I think it was called Blue and Gold. I didn't read it, but it's on the list to be read. So I think with him, with Booster Gold. There you go, Blue and Gold. So
I haven't read anything since they've brought him back.
Okay.
I don't know if that's in a trade yet. We'll have to get that for you if it is.
It should be. It came out a couple years ago.
It did, yeah.
I know the storyline from the Booster Gold solo series is in a trade.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
that was a great storyline too.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I like best about him. So how about you, Uncle Garrett?
Yeah, I like him. I'm like Chris. He's it's just funny as hell when he's with Booster, and it's kind of funny in the relationship. He kind of elevates Booster, and Booster kind of brings Ted down a little bit, reputation wise, right? Because Booster's got the reputation as a kind of a shady kind of hero because of his start, because he got started.
Yeah. He's basically a walking billboard. He's
a walking billboard, and he stole. And he stole the equipment to go into the future and all this other stuff. So, but that's why it's interesting where when Booster's become a Time Lord, where all of a sudden it's he's evolved. But I think he's evolved because of Beetle made him better. Made him a better hero. And like Chris, I like the stories where they underestimate his intellect and then he outsmarts people.
Yeah.
I love that in the current JLA series, he's one of the tech guys for the Justice League. I mean, he's still Beetle, but he's also one of the guys like Terrific that they rely on for tech to keep the satellite going and the headquarters going. So he's very much relied on, and I think he's a really cool Justice League. I love the humor, and it's hard to write humorous heroes. It really is, and so they did such a great job of that in that Justice League run and cementing that friendship. So I think I like him better as humorous, but it makes the stories all the more poignant when he does go a serious route.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it gives it a little more bite to it when they do that. So
very
interesting character. I really like what Chris said. He's us, He's got a dad bod. Look at him. So, but he's good at what he does. He's a good combatant. He's probably I think I read somewhere they say he's like an Olympic level gymnast with those kind of skills, with his agility and things like that. Even with when he's toting even a little weight, he's still agile and all. But I just think he's an interesting character, very interesting character. And very much grounded, and he doesn't lord his smarts over everybody. He doesn't. He's very much a team player.
Right.
And I think that's why a lot of people sleep on his detective abilities.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because he doesn't, brag about how smart he is or how good he is. He just has fun.
I agree.
Yeah. Very good. All right, Dan, how about you?
Yeah, I'll agree with him and Booster. I think is the best friendship in comics. The way they play off each other, and I like him. When he could be joking around and stuff, but I don't like it when they make him a total, kind of incompetent goofball, because he still is, like you said, Gary. He still is good at what he does, and sometimes there's a tendency on writers though to just and they do it with Booster too, or they'll make them just both kind of incompetent goofballs, and that's not who they are. Yeah, they can have their moments of stupidity, but at the end of the day, they're both two very competent, very good heroes. I mean, both of them were when Doomsday was fighting Superman and the Justice League showed up, both of them were like right there. Some of the first ones in fighting against Doomsday, the guy that eventually killed Superman.
Yep.
Right.
And
I remember, Brett reminds me of that scene.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of heart, and he was created by Steve Ditko, who
he creates bugs,
who co-created Spider-Man, and has some of the same kind of tendencies that Peter does, where he's almost has this like perpetual bad luck where he's got this company, but there's been several times. Oh, we have a new host with us.
Oh,
there we go.
What's up, Liz?
Hey, Liz.
But he does have these problems where the company doesn't always do well, and some of these schemes that Booster and him get into don't always go well, and his love life doesn't go great either. And, he's got some of that lovable loser that Peter Parker has to him as well. And the gadgets, the gadgets are cool. The bug is super cool. I will admit, I think the BB gun is stupid. I get it. BB, Blue Beetle, but it's just, that's just a little too goofy for me. Maybe if they called it something else, and I also like him when he's, kind of a respected member of the Justice League that, a lot of them will kind of, groan at times, but it'll go into one of my badass moments with him, what people really think of him, as a member of the league.
Is scrambling right now. I mean, really.
Yep. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. All right, so let's go ahead and jump to our next segment is badass moments. And Uncle Gary, you want to kick us off with badass moments?
No, I don't want to take any of Chris's thunder.
All right, then, Chris, do it.
I mean, I think there's one that we probably all have.
I think
Yeah,
we
it
all
probably is.
Yeah.
And that'll be the first one I go over. When he tells Max Lord to rot in hell, he knows Max Lord's going to kill him.
Yep.
He's been hunting. He's been trying to find out who's been embezzling money from his company, and he goes to to all the other heroes. Even goes to Batman, and none of them really care what's going on.
They all dismiss him.
Yeah, they all dismiss him like he's a joke. But there's a real problem going on, and he's finding out about it. And eventually, he traces it to Max Lord, who's now the head of Checkmate, who wants to do away with metahumans, or at least
Even though he is one.
be in control of all of them, even though he is one. Yeah. So he tells Blue Beetle, look, you can either join me or I'll kill you. And he tells him straight up, rot in hell. And bam, he takes a bullet to the brain pan and he's gone. He stood up in the face of death, just like Rorschach in The Watchmen, where he was even in the face of annihilation. You stand up for what's right.
You refuse to compromise.
Yep.
Yeah, never compromise. And he didn't. That is probably the one that we all had, I'm sure.
Yep.
And then, Dan mentions Doomsday, and it just so happened he stood toe-to-toe against Doomsday. This is a normal dude.
Yeah.
A guy bouncing around, trying to do something to this, let's face it, god of destruction, which is kind of what he was. I mean, he was unstoppable, and he takes one hell of a beating and almost dies from it, and it doesn't stop him. He still comes back as a hero and doesn't slow down, which is pretty impressive to me.
I think he got put into a coma, right? Because Doomsday had his kind of skull. Because I remember the scene where he looks and sees Bloodwind, and and he's like, "Oh, he says something like, "Oh, I knew it," and kind of teased who Bloodwind really was.
Yeah. And then he just got used as a club. I mean, he was just bounced off of every.
Did he get like a nice crunch to the side as well? I think if I remember right.
Yep. And he ended up with a 6-inch gash on the back of his skull. He's got a scar on the back of his skull from it.
He got a facial, didn't he?
Got a facial
into the wall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Face plant.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was in a coma for a while after that.
Yeah,
he was for quite a while.
The other part of that is I remember Booster just getting his shield up just in time to get punched and sent across the state line.
Oh
yeah. And his suit got shredded, and they put him in that big, ugly, bulky armor after that.
Yeah. They didn't stand a snowball's chance in hell against Doomsday.
No.
I mean, they weren't even a road bump, a speed bump. I mean, he basically just flexed and they were done.
Yeah.
And that was when Bloodwind was Martian Manhunter, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It turned out it was Martian Manhunter in disguise, and then they introduced another character named the actual Bloodwind later.
That's just excellent.
I don't want to see the Bloodwind Heavy Flow crossover. That's just too much for me.
That's an episode for
Stay tuned.
Not for us.
Not for us.
Not for us.
Pulse pounding. And then there was during the Booster Gold series that John's wrote. John touches anything, it turns to gold. The man's amazing. But the when he brought Blue Beetle back, he went against everything he was told. Brought Blue Beetle back anyway, and it sort of created this alternate timeline.
Yeah.
And in that alternate timeline, Blue Beetle was Black Beetle, who was a villain, and there were a few members of the JLI left that could defeat him. And Ted Kord decides, for the good of everyone, that he has to die when he died. So he puts himself back into that position and faces that same bullet again. He's just a hero, man, through and through. There's nobody like this guy, and he will die for his friends. And it's just it's almost as though he's fated to die for his friends in every iteration. So I think that's kind of admirable, pretty badass in my book. So
Okay.
I think that's all I have.
All right. Very cool. All right, Danny, go next.
All right. Well, yeah, I also had it was the last part of the series is Booster Gold issue 1,000,000, where Ted realizes because he didn't die, Max ended up winning and essentially wiped out most of the heroes, and the ones that were left were the Justice League International ones, because Max kind of had a soft spot for them, since he refers to him as that was his league. And when they're fighting him, then Beetle realizes, the only way to fix this is for me to go, and I have to die. And he didn't debate it. It wasn't, well, let me just do this and this first. He's like, nope, this is what has to happen, and then goes and does it, and that's pretty brave there.
And I kind of love that journey of both he and Lord through the Justice League series up until Blue Beetle's end, and how both those characters developed throughout that. When I first, you guys are probably like me. You saw Beetle first in Crisis.
Yeah.
We'd probably seen him prior, but in DC was the first place where we saw him was in Crisis. And he didn't really do a whole lot, and they didn't really do a lot with him. But then Ween did the series that he did, but he didn't really catch fire until he was with the JLA, and that was Lord's JLA, and those guys had an entire arc that stretched well beyond the JLI story, and ended right before Infinite Crisis. And it was just an interesting thing to watch develop between the both of them. Because when I first saw Lord, I was like, hey, he's kind of cool. I wonder who he is. And then he just got smarmier and smarmier through the years until he showed up as,
kind of makes him want to snap his neck, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe wrap him up in a golden lasso and snap his neck.
So I had that one. I also had, Countdown to Infinite Crisis. And it wasn't just that he stood up to Max at the end. It was he figured out that this was going on and nobody else did. Batman didn't. And Wayne Enterprises was part of this thing where, they were getting money stolen too. It wasn't just Cord Industries. It was all these other big companies, and Batman had his kind of secret OMAC project going on, which, we come to find out that Max Lord had taken control of.
Yep.
But Ted was the only one to figure out all this stuff was going on. Oracle didn't, Batman didn't, and all these heroes dismissed him, but he was the only one to find out and go in on his own, to try and do something about it. And it wasn't until after the fact that, that they realized, and it was, Chris was feeling a bit under the weather.
Thank you, Cam. Much better.
So it was pretty badass that he figured it out when no one else did. And then, actually when everybody was dismissing him except for Booster, he actually went and did something about it. And then at the very end stood up to him and was told, rotten hell, Max. Though I think, if DC would have had a what if series the way Marvel had, I think it would have been a really cool issue to see, like, what if Blue Beetle had lived, and maybe have it where he tells Max, like, okay, I'll join you, not to actually do it, but to kind of work, to stop Max
infiltrate.
To infiltrate him, because, and it wasn't just that he found out, it was that Max, how much respect Max had for him.
Yep.
He was, like, I knew it was going to be you. Like, I knew you were going to be the one to find me with everything I was doing. It's like, I knew it was going to be you.
Yep.
So, and then the last one I have is kind of from a couple different issues. It's just seeing what all the other characters in DC thought about him, because he some while he was alive, but some of them unfortunately after he had died. So one of them was from after he was killed, from Birds of Prey issue 96, this one where Black Canary says, the only time being in the JLA was ever really fun was because of him. I couldn't wait to get to meetings just to hear what he'd say to Guy Gardner and Batman.
Yeah.
And then this issue 2 was the one where they kind of revealed that, Barbara had like a secret cyber crush on him because she didn't know that it was, was him.
He had a crush on her too.
Yeah. And that was sad too, because he kept trying to get her to help him in Countdown, and eventually she was like, I'm done. And in Blue Beetle 14, you see Guy talking to Jaime, who is the new Blue Beetle, and he says to him, where Ted gives him the strategy book and said, Ted gave it to me. There's a list of more books he wanted me to read, written in the back cover, military intelligence, data analysis, stuff like that. He was always trying to get me to think like him, but a man's got to know his swing. And he says, Ted Cord had no powers, kid. He was always overpowered, but he always won. I saw him mop the floor with guys who ate stars because he was smarter. And because he was smarter than bats, although nobody ever noticed.
Mm.
Yep.
And then, to get that kind of respect from Guy, who kind of, shit on everybody.
Well, Guy doesn't give out that respect. He wouldn't have told Ted that to his face.
Oh, yeah. And then this one, when he was still alive, it's from JLI issue 39, when they're fighting Desparo. And you see in the bottom there where Desparo's got him. And he goes, interesting, even though you are physically the weakest link, your mind is second. God, I get my vision.
Second only to the Martians.
Mind is second in strength only to the Martians. Quite resilient.
Hey,
and
thanks.
What'd you say?
He said, hey, thanks.
Yeah.
I bet you say that to everybody that you pick up.
And that's just him right there in a nutshell.
Yeah. But right there, this big bad that they're fighting is telling him that on this team with all these other characters, like, oh, interesting. Other than Martian Manhunter, you've got the strongest mind.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yep. All right.
That
Gary,
is
how about
awesome.
you?
Yeah, and I like that he's resilient, even though he underestimates himself a lot too. So he's got a lot of the doubts and things like that, but he's striving to do the right thing. So of course I've got the investigating Max Lord. When Batman, the way he died was badass, but like Dan was talking about, it was the fact that he investigated this and kept going when nobody was concerned. And the fact that Batman even brushed it off. He had better things to do. And that Ted
was insulting what Batman did to him.
Yes. And that Ted.
Twice.
Yeah.
And twice in the same issue. There's the second time when he said he called and Batman put him on hold and then just left him there.
Yeah. So this was something that Batman thought was beneath his notice. And he was so wrong that he misjudged. So he was on top of something that Batman knew there was something going on, but discounted it because he didn't think it was a real problem. So the fact that Ted knew it was a problem and Ted didn't give it up, he was like a dog, dog with a bone. He wasn't going to give it up. And that just speaks to his resilience.
And Batman was kind of complicit in what happened because a major part of what Max was doing was because of the OMAC
and the
satellite, the
Brother Eye
satellite.
And all he had to do was
Or the
take the
butter.
time to look into it. Blue Beetle would have lived, and they'd have been able to put an early stop to it.
Yep. And also, when he sacrificed himself, when he was given a new lease on life, and saw that the Black Beetle was a problem and would change the timelines, that he knew he had to die, and he went back to his fate knowing that he was dying. That's pretty badass when you know what's going to happen. The other thing is, it's not a badass moment; it's a funny ass moment, and it's one punch. One punch. One punch. Bowled over. One punch. So it's a funny ass moment.
That is a funny moment.
One of the greatest moments in JLI history. That, and with the Black Canary, I missed it.
Well, tell the audience; they may not be aware of it.
Well, just there was a great in the JLI, Guy Gardner being his usual,
Asshole.
Rambo with a ring.
Jackass in the room. Thought he should be in charge of the JLI, and he kept pushing Batman's button, pushing Batman's button, and he took his ring off. They were going to have a fist fight, and bam, one punch, guy's laid out, and Booster the Beetle he's trying to hold his guts together. He's laughing so hard, doubled up. Mr. Miracle, I think, says, "Well, I'll say that's a very efficient Batman. Or Batman certainly is efficient," is what Mr. Miracle says. And then Black Canary walks in, and she did not appreciate Guy at all. And she goes, "What? He did what? I missed it. And that was a mantra for her. She missed it, and she never
She was
could
beside herself. She was so upset
angry.
that she missed him getting punched in the mouth.
But he was to tears.
Yep.
One punch. And so, like I said, not a badass moment, but a funny
and it really set the tone for that entire run.
Yep. And that punch also altered Guy's personality, where he became a sweetheart after that.
Yep.
Well, it wasn't just that punch. Remember, it's because when he eventually woke up, everyone was gone, and he was still kind of a jerk. He's like, "Oh, where's my ring? Oh yeah." He tosses it to the side, and he goes under the monitor to get it, and then he hits his head on the
That's right.
monitor and knocks himself out again. And then that's and like the two concussions he got changed his personality. Yeah,
that was excellent.
And then when he switched back was with Lobo. And there was, I think, the one cover has Lobo grabbing him.
Yeah, and then the next one,
cover, he's got Lobo. He says, "I'm back."
Yeah, that was great. And what's funny about that, Dan, is no one even bothered to get his ring from under the monitor. He throws it to Blue Beetle to hold. Didn't he throw it to Blue Beetle to hold? And Blue Beetle would just threw it to the side, and it rolled under the monitor.
Yeah.
No one went and got it when he got knocked out. They just left it there.
I mean, if it was me, if I was Blue Beetle, I'd have been like, I'm gonna see if I can get the ring to work for me.
Yep.
I'm gonna be Green Beetle from now on.
Green Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
And I believe during that time frame that
Beetle.
it wasn't written in that only the user could use the ring. Anybody could pick it up and use it.
Yeah.
It just had to have enough willpower to use it.
Right.
Type situation. So.
Yeah. So
that was so funny.
One of the greatest moments ever. I mean, we're all sitting here laughing, and that was 40 years ago, 30 years ago.
It was 86 or 87, right?
Yeah.
That run was a real palate cleanser for guys like us who'd read comics
40 years ago. 40 years ago.
And the JLA was always super serious, and it was always the straight-laced, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, blah, 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 Barry. And then this league was just funnier than hell. And it was a nice palate cleanser, and it lasted as long as it needed to last.
Yep.
And they ended it.
Well, the way they did it is because who was the editor of it? Was it Levitz? I have to look it up. I can't remember. But when they knew Justice League ended, when they were doing what was the series? Legends, right?
Yeah.
They were doing Legends, and they were going to have a new Justice League come out after that. Keith Giffen had been going to this editor's office once a day, every day, and just sticking his head in the door and going, "Justice League." And he said after weeks of him doing it, finally he said, "Okay." And Keith Giffen was like, "What?" He goes, "All right, you've got it." And he was like, "Oh shit, really?" And then they had to figure out, all right, what's it going to be? And they couldn't use Superman because John Byrne had him and was doing something different with him. They couldn't use Wonder Woman because Perez was doing something with him. And they're like, all right, well, we can't, we don't have any of these big guns. So they were having to build the League out of these, second tier characters.
The B team.
B team almost. And, the Batman editor, as they said, took pity on him and said, all right, well, you can have Batman. The Green Lantern editor said, all right, you can have a Green Lantern. And they just decided to use Guy instead of Hal.
I'm glad they used Guy.
Yeah, me too.
And they decided, that when they were doing it, they wanted to do something different. So instead of just, we're going to have all the big superhero fights and all that, they decided that they were going to concentrate just on the interpersonal moments with the League, as opposed to like big world conquering threats.
And they really built the characters from there. I mean, we really got to know Martian Manhunter better during this run.
That's where he got introduced to Oreos.
Yeah.
Yes.
As the one when the issue where they're moving into the new embassy, and the one mover is like, "What's this box? It's so heavy." Those are Oreos, and he wasn't. And they were questioning him on whether he, why he had all these Oreos, and he said, "Oh, Captain Marvel turned me on to him, and I kind of like him."
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
And then they had that great issue of the Martian Manhunter series where they had him sitting on the cover on top of they were calling them Chacos.
Yep.
They didn't use Oreos anymore, and it was the whole thing where Blue Beetle and Booster Gold had bought up every Chaco that was in like a 5-mile radius, and they'd hidden them all in a store, in a warehouse. And then that's when they found out that Martian Manhunter, it was like a drug to him with his biology.
Yeah.
And he like went out of control and like turned into this giant monster that was destroying the city.
That's great.
That was great.
Read that issue, Chris?
It was a great issue.
I'm sure I read it at one point or another. I just don't
John.
remember.
That was John Orstrander's run, and it was the cover was by Mandrake.
Yeah.
Again, Orstrander.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So good. And the other, besides One Punch, the other thing that resonates from that run for me is Cooey, Cooey, Cooey.
Yeah. I mentioned that in our must reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wahaha.
Wow.
Yep. All right, well, you guys made it easy for me on my my badass moments because you guys had them all. I had my first one was the getting shot in the head.
Everybody should have had that.
My second one was the one punch, the one punch, the facial expressions of him alone and doubling over laughter on that situation was just a funny badass moment. And of course, I had the standing up to Doomsday as well. I mean, for a guy with no power sets and just gadgets and intelligence, it takes a lot to stand up to somebody like that. I did not read that future state with Black Beetle, so now I think I've got to check that out. So there you go.
It's from the Booster Gold series.
Yeah.
Okay.
The second
John's
one.
Gold. John's Booster Gold.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, man, is that an original? Is that an original McGuire?
That is an original McGuire
Wow, that's
Nice.
awesome.
that he did for me.
And that's your tattoo, isn't it?
What's that?
Is your tattoo of that image?
No.
Okay.
No, your tattoo's from the cover of that one Blue Beetle issue, right?
Yeah. That's
awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome art.
No, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's issue 1. That's right. That's from issue 1.
All right.
I just love that.
That's so cool.
From issue 1, Paris Cullins is going to be at Baltimore this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. All right, so then let's jump to our next segment then, which is after badass moments, is what we don't like about this character. So, Chris, since this is your character week, what don't you like about him?
I don't, and I think we've mentioned this. I don't like it when they don't take him seriously, when they treat him as a joke.
Yeah, much of a jokester.
And it's almost understandable considering some of the hijinks he and Booster got into when he was with the JLI, but they've done so much else. that to just dismiss him offhand, especially like we were talking with Batman. I mean, Batman just kind of predetermined he wasn't going to listen to anything Blue Beetle had to tell him, like he was some junior detective that, got his license out of the back of a comic book. I mean, he treated him like shit.
Yeah.
And I hate it when they do that. I mean, it was perfect for that storyline, but unfortunately it happens way too often where he's just thrown into a book as comic relief.
Well, that storyline wouldn't have been near as poignant if he had to have been rejected to make that storyline poignant. Yeah.
Right. Remember when they teased that, you don't, on the cover, you see Batman holding the body, but you don't see who it is. And if you remember at the time, everybody thought it was Nightwing because Dan DiDio had kept wanting to kill off Nightwing, and everyone thought, oh, that bastard.
He really did, didn't he?
Wow. Okay. All right, Dan.
He really didn't like Nightwing, did he?
Yeah. Yeah, the same thing when they make him, a joke of a character, and he's fun loving and kind of goofy, and he'll joke around when he's out there doing that, fighting crime. But Spider-Man does the same thing. As I said, Ditko co-created Spider-Man, created Ted, so there's some similarities. But nobody treats Spider-Man like he's a joke. But they have this tendency to treat Beetle that way, and and it's unfortunate that they do that. And also, I thought it would be cool at some point to let him get the scarab. He didn't get it when Garrett died, and he finally got it. He had it in Countdown, but he hadn't done anything with it yet. And Booster even asked him about it. He's like, I can't really get it to do anything. And then it finally does, and then it disappears. But it would be cool for him to actually get to use the scarab at some point,
just to see how he would work with it.
Yeah, to see what he could do with it. Because Garrett was he was an archaeologist.
Yeah.
So it's not like he didn't unlock it that much. It kind of made him stronger and stuff. Jaime, gets the armor and stuff out of it, but he's just a kid.
Yeah.
Like if if Ted had the scarab and actually was able to use it, I think he could use it to the full potential, more so than either one of them.
Right.
I agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, Uncle Gary, how about you? What don't you like?
The exact same thing that they mentioned. When they make him too much, when they just make him a buffoon and a clown, and they don't focus on all his other gifts. There was another, and just as a side note, there's another character that Ditko created that has allusions to bugs just because of the name, the Creeper.
Yeah.
The Creeper is kind of a buggy name too, so I think that's kind of fun. And another guy that quips all the time too.
Yeah,
that runs his mouth and is insane a little bit as a Creeper. But
his name really hasn't aged well.
Who hasn't?
His name just hasn't aged well.
No, the Creeper. No, it is not.
Well, it's funny in the Creeper's, alternate identity, his real world identity as a reporter in the JLI series, spent the whole series trashing the Justice League, and telling people how terrible they were.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Even though he teamed up with them on the one storyline.
Well, I'm still, Chris, I don't know if you read it, but the Shazam issue from a few years ago was one of my favorite issues of the whole year.
That was a good one. There was
a Shazam issue with the Creeper. And he tricked Billy into saying Shazam.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah. Yeah. He was going to read some newspaper article or something like that, and had "sh" at the one part of the sentence, and then over here "zam" at the other part. He had the
man.
And can we say too, Ditko's design? That's such a great costume.
Yeah, it is.
Garrett's design was very basic. Nothing wrong with it, but it was a very basic design. It was it's just a solid blue bodysuit with red gloves and
very golden age
and a little fin there. And then Jaime's design's kind of busy, but man, that you just look at that action figure, man. That is such an awesome costume design.
It's a great costume, and not too many years after he had come up with the Spider-Man costume.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just simple. That's right. Oh,
Yeah.
Creeper. Now you talk about a crazy costume design. Whatever the hell he did with the Creeper,
I love the Creeper.
That was the acid years there.
I loved Ditko's work, and I loved what he did with Doctor Strange. It was just so crazy. All the other worlds, and all the crazy.
There's a great. I think in the Joker series in the 70s, I think it was the third issue. The Joker and the Creeper met. Creeper bugged the hell out of the Joker. The Joker,
that's fantastic.
The Creeper drove him ape shit crazy. So it was great. The Joker, who usually drives everybody else crazy, the Creeper got on his last nerve.
That's fantastic.
And it was great.
Yep. All right, so just to wrap up the segment, I'm agreeing with you guys when they make him too much of a jokester and ignoring his intelligence and all the other gifts that he brings to the table. When they ignore all that and just focus on just the jokes, I don't like that. So, all right, so let's jump on to our next segment, which is going to be top covers. And Chris, since you are the man of the hour, here are your covers. Coming right up. There you go.
There we go. Countdown to Infinite Crisis there. That is the second printing. I chose that one because you can see who it is.
Right.
I think that's an amazing cover.
It is.
I'm not sure who did the art on that. Is that Rags?
Looks like Rags to me.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
He made a lot of money on that. He went from rags to riches on that cover.
Oh, God. That second one there is the classic, first issue cover.
Looks like a tattoo.
Which is Paris Cullen and Bruce D. Patterson did this cover. I think that's just fantastic.
Yeah.
That is everything Blue Beetle is. And for a first cover, that's pretty cool.
Yes, that is
pretty cool. And then you've got, it's Kevin McGuire cover on the right. I just love McGuire's work, man.
Nobody draws facial expressions like him.
Nobody. And that's just the perfect picture of those two idiots.
As great as the writing on that book was, it would not have been as successful as well remembered as it is without McGuire's art. Because
no, not at all. No one does faces like him.
If you had just had a regular superhero, style artist on it, they would not have been able to do what McGuire did with the facial expressions, the body positions and stuff.
Yeah, you can see the exasperation or the surprise or the shock or the joy. He really knows how to bring that out.
Yeah.
In his art, unlike anybody else, I think.
And a little bit of sex appeal to it too. When you look at his miniseries, The Bat and the Cat, that dealt with Batgirl chasing Catwoman, and they end up going through a swingers.
Oh yeah.
Through this big orgy, and she had to strip down to follow Catwoman through there. Oh, it was just great sight gags, and it was a little racy, and it was just really, really good. And McGuire's art just made it fantastic, just like he does here.
He's just awesome. But yeah.
All right, very cool.
And it was really hard for me to narrow down any covers. I love any cover with Blue Beetle on it, of course.
Yeah.
It was hard for me not to throw Crisis up here, but
Right. Right. Let's take that little Codex off there so they can see the cover better. All right, Dan, got yours ready for you? You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. So all the way on the left, I also have Blue Beetle issue 1 by Paris Cullen, and if he's at Baltimore this year, I'll be taking my copy to get him to sign.
He is announced as a guest.
All right,
Is he?
Yes.
I'm gonna have him sign my tat and get it tattooed.
Wow,
that would be kind of cool. But it's. I'm just gonna be honest. This series was not a great series.
No.
But, the covers are really good. The art inside was kind of inconsistent. You'd see one page which looked fantastic, and then the next page you'd be like, "Is this drawn by the same guy?" But this cover, if you saw this as an issue 1 on the shelf, you would have to pick it up.
Oh,
the
absolutely.
way the blue stands out from the reds, just fantastic.
Yeah.
The middle cover.
I feel like Ween just kind of he was sleepwalking through that series.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of, when you read it, it's a bunch of kind of cheesy he has them saying all these cheesy one-liners.
Yeah, it's very
It did get
it's very rote.
Yeah, it did get kind of better as it went along, but it was never really great. Like I said, it was just the cheesy one. I was like he was. It was stuff like you would hear in a sitcom, and I don't know how many times he had to describe writing. Oh, I just have to hit this secret control in my glove, which will unlock the magnetic thing in my mask where they can't. Like, all right, you need to write that in every issue. We get it.
And that is a big problem with comics, especially in like the late 70s throughout the 80s. Was the exposition was sometimes way too much. Most guys that are reading comics are well aware of what happened the issue before.
Yeah, well, they are still focused on
to
writing, on it being written for kids. So
yeah.
The middle cover, it's from Blue Beetle Graduation Day issue 6. It's a variant cover. I just love that it's got all three. It's got all three Beetles on it, but to me, Ted is the one he's in the center of it, and he's the one that really stands out the most of the three of them on there. But I did like that it had all three of them on there: the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Modern Age one.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
And then on the right, Booster Gold issue 7, like it says, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle back in action. Great storyline, great series. I love the cover that it's got the two of them on there like that, and just like I said, to me, best duo in comics.
Dan Jurgens.
Definitely a Jurgens cover. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, I would love to interview Dan Jurgens, and one thing I would ask him is, what is it like whenever you're working on one of these series that has Booster Gold in it, where you're the artist on it and someone else is writing it, when you're the one that created the character?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Because he took over writing on this, because Johns wrote this. It was only up to issue 12 or 13. He only wrote it up to the end of this storyline, I think, and then he left, and Jurgens took over as the writer and artist.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that he didn't forget to put the Legion ring on him.
Yeah. But I had to have a cover of the two of them on there.
Yep.
That is a beautiful cover.
Yep. All right, Gary, got yours queued up?
Right.
And I'm telling you, that time period is one of the finest time periods in comics.
Oh, yeah. DC was killing it then.
The early 2000s. Oh.
All right. I got the most recent miniseries, the one that you got to get a trade for Chris there, is the Blue and Gold series. It's just them doing what they do best. Now they're doing it for social media likes. Alien Invaders Repel, Justice League Saved. About time we got our own book. There you go.
That's a great cover.
Yeah, that was by Ryan Sook. So
that's awesome.
Great cover, fun series. It was really good. The one in the center, that's Paris Cullens. I mean, that's a great cover. Blue Beetle.
Yeah, it is. I almost picked that one.
Yeah, just love the grit and determination.
Yeah.
On his voice, and then or on his face, and then the last one is the Law. Living Assault Weapons, and he was the cover boy on that one, and that's by Dick Giordano, and that's just a really, really cool cover. Just like how he's swinging into action, he's got his gun. Yep. So, just good representations of our boy here.
Good stuff.
Love that costume, man.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, here are my covers coming up.
No, Madman, love it.
Yeah.
Love the Madman.
That was my first issue of Blue Beetle that I ever got when I was a kid. I didn't even know who the character was. It was just, one of those books I got out of a back issue bin at like an antique store or thrift mall or something.
It's pretty cool.
Yep. So that one is penciled by Cullens, I believe.
It's Paris Cullens.
Yep. And I like the action in this because he pistol whipped one guy, he's punching the other green guy, and he's got all these other guys mobbing him at the same time. which I just thought was pretty cool.
Yep.
You can see that. The middle one, the Justice League International one, it's number 21. That's Templin. Yeah. And I like this one because he has that quote in there. Well, here's another fine mess you got us into. And I was using that. I was going to use that tagline in my thing, but I chose something similar to it. But it's just embraces the comedy gold that they have between each other. You know,
comedy gold. I saw what you did there.
Or fire.
Comedy gold. Yep. And even though I haven't read Blue and Gold, I did like this cover because it reminded me of like a movie poster.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's number 8.
Look, Skeets gave it a 10 out of 10.
There you go.
A timeless epic by Rip Hunter.
Yep. And it's covers by Ryan Sook. And,
JLA's Best by Guy Gardner.
Yeah. And he has a streaming live and then down at the bottom or dead. That type of thing.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yep. Brilliant Ted Cord, yeah.
But I like the movie poster, like the 80s explosion in the background type of thing, or Chris walking out of a Taco Bell.
It's very Michael Bay.
Yeah.
I like Super by Bibbo Bibkowski. That's the big Superman fan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Bibbo, yeah.
That's his favorite word.
Yep.
I just looked it up. There is a trade of that Blue and Gold.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
There should be, yeah.
Let's see about getting that. All right. Well, those are my books.
Those are awesome.
Nice.
All right. So before we jump into essential readings, I want to say for next week, we're going to be doing top 10 law enforcement, but we'll have a very special guest star on with me. My brother will be in town, and he'll be right here, or maybe on this side. I'm not sure yet, but he'll be joining us.
And he is law enforcement himself.
He is retired FBI. So if you've got any questions about aliens, cattle slayings, mind probe, outstanding warrants, that's the time to bring it up.
Oh shit, Chris, you can't appear next week.
Yeah, Chris, you may not be able to be on next week.
Yeah,
I'm good. I already paid him.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, very good. All right, so let's go ahead and jump to essential readings. Chris, I'm going to put you up first. Here is yours.
This is all good stuff. Just League America 33 to 35.
Cooey.
What's that?
Cooey.
This is the Cooey story. For those not familiar with it, it's just a lot of fun. Booster and Blue Beetle are once again up to their hijinks and trying to make money. They're always trying to turn a buck, and this time it really bites them in the ass, and it's just fantastic. Just the perfect storm of bullshit that ruins their scheme is just incredibly well written.
And a very pissed off Aquaman is in that series.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. He reams them out pretty good too. Yeah.
Just the whole thing is just crazy, and just a laugh. This, I guarantee you, a laugh every 2 or 3 panels.
Yeah,
You gotta read it. Nice. Of course, Countdown to Infinite Crisis, one that we already spoke of. It is a fantastic look and a tragic look at Blue Beetle's final days, where he proves himself to be more of a hero than anyone ever thought. We've already mentioned the end, but it's worth a read to just go through it, and it's absolutely a fantastic. I mean,
are you saying it's worth giving that book a shot?
It's worth a shot in the head.
Yeah.
And it's a great stepping stone into reading Infinite Crisis if you're going to read that and the other Countdown books.
Which you should, because they're
they're so good. It's some of the best writing. And in Justice League International Annual 2 is Blue and Gold at it again. This time they're still trying to get their superhero repossession company off the ground, Blue and Gold, and they end up repossessing a tank. and they park it outside of. They're supposed to meet with Big Barda and Scott Free, for a barbecue that they were invited to. So instead of turning the tank in right away, they leave it outside of Big Barda and Mr. Miracle's house. And unfortunately for them, the Joker comes upon it, and hilarity ensues for the rest of the issue. It is a fantastic,
There you go.
a fantastic read, and I can't recommend it enough. And there's a scene in there near the end with Batman that will just crack you up. So check it out.
All right.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me. All right, Dan, I'm going to put you up next. There you go.
All right, so the first one I have on there is DC's Finest, Blue Beetle. This covers all of his stuff when he was first introduced with Charlton Comics. So it is Captain Atom 83, where he first appeared, to 86. He was in backup stories in that, and then spun off into his own series, Blue Beetle, which ran for 5 issues, and the storyline continued directly from Captain Atom 86 into Blue Beetle issue 1.
I used to have all that.
So, you could one day again.
No.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
So it's got all of those in it. It's also got some other stuff. It's got some of the Dan Garrett stuff in there too, and there's a special that's in it as well. I forget which, but read that because it's all of the original Ditko stuff, and you'll see how the character was when he was originally created. And a lot of the stuff in it, like the stuff on Pago Island and his origin, when the Len Wein series launched at DC, the stories that he did really just was just taking the Ditko stuff and just kind of, I don't even want to say rewriting, because it's just basically them just retelling it in, the same way, the same stuff. So read that. You'll see the character is beginning. I didn't narrow it down for a specific Justice League story. I just said read all of the Giffen, DeMatteis, Maguire Justice League.
Absolutely.
Read the whole Justice League series that they had written on. Plus, there were 2 miniseries that came out after that called formerly known as the Justice League, which ran for 6 issues. And there was going to be a second miniseries, but it ended up being part of JLA Classified, called I Can't Believe It's Not the Justice League. And again, it's the Giffen, DeMatteis, Maguire team that's on that too.
They're excellent as well.
Oh, they're so good. It just read it. And it's great getting to see Maguire's art, but you're seeing it printed on nice paper with good coloring. So there's, where you can actually see all the stuff, all these facial expressions even better. But they're absolutely fantastic. Go read all of them. And then Booster Gold, Blue and Gold. That is the Booster Gold Volume 2, issues 6 through 10, and issue 1 million, which is the stuff that we talked about, like in the Badass Moments and before, where Booster wanted to save Ted because he's his best friend. And this is the storyline where he went back and saved him, and it ruined the timeline. And, Ted decided, there's nothing I can do to save all these people that have died since I didn't, and decides to sacrifice himself to save it. It's an amazing story.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Very good. All right. Gary, got yours queued up here. You ready to go?
Yep, let's go.
Whoops.
All
wrong
right.
one.
There you go. All right. All right. Just for a more modern take, the Blue and Gold series 1 through 8 that just came out a few years ago. It was just a lot of fun. And that was by Jurgens and Sook, and Jurgens, Ryan Sook. And then Secret Origins #2, that's volume 2 that DC did. And that was a story by Len Wein and Gil Kane that kind of taught, that was telling the origins of the Beetle from Garrett to Ted. and it kind of revamped it a little bit, but it was just it was trying. I just think it's a great retelling.
It's really good, and might I recommend that if anyone gets a chance, that entire Secret Origins Volume 2 run is phenomenal.
It is great. It's a nice grounding stone for all the characters that it covers.
Yeah, they go over a lot of Golden Age characters.
They sure do.
It's
Golden
wonderful.
Age, Modern Age characters that are on the periphery, like Warlord.
Yeah.
And it's usually like 2 characters in each issue.
Yes.
It's just this one happened to have both Blue Beetles, and one led into the other.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it did.
Amazingly well done.
And then, of course, the very much aforementioned Countdown to Infinite Crisis, and that was just, what an amazing book, so poignant. And, when you have a character that's been such a ray of humor and laughter, and it gets serious like that, and to have the outcome like it did, it makes it even more heartbreaking.
Oh, it broke my heart, man.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Yeah.
So,
but it was one of the best stories I've ever read in comic.
It sure was powerful. Yes, it was.
For a single issue to pack that much punch was pretty impressive too, even though it was a double-sized issue, I believe.
It was. Yeah. So those are mine.
All right, very cool. Here are mine. I went with the Blue Beetle 1 through 5. I think we've talked about this a little bit there too. It's a version of Blue Beetle. He's more tech-based. He's a bit, he's similar to like Batman, but I think a little bit smarter and probably better detection. Better on the detective side, I should say.
And that's the Charlton series, right?
Yes. Well, it's by Ditko and
the Charlton series.
Yeah. That's right. Mm-hmm. And so it follows him up. He takes over the mantle, and even though he's without supervisor, he relies on his intellect, his martial arts, all his gadgets, and it goes to fight crime. Good series, 1 through 5 there. Countdown to Infinite Crisis. I think we've talked this one to death, pun intended.
Thought you did there. Sal took a shot.
That's right.
Sal took his shot.
I scored.
Nailed it right in the head.
Yeah,
he did.
But what I think about this series is I think it really changed the face of comics, though. I think going down the road, because it led to like more other stories like the damn it, I can't think of the other series I'm trying to think of here. Shoot, I don't know. I think it just it led to all of the darker stories going down the road. This was a very serious death, and I think this kind of changed the roadmap of comics at that time frame. So,
well, yeah, look what they did in Infinite Crisis. With the deaths that they had in that.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was trying to go with that. It was getting confused.
Infinite Crisis was the perfect bookend for Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yes.
And they never should have followed it with Final Crisis.
Final Crisis was terrible.
Yeah, Final Crisis was bad. But definitely, Countdown to Infinite Crisis, one to check out. Has the very serious ending to it, which was just phenomenal. All right, so my last one, Justice League International, 1 through 20. I mean, I got through issue 20, but I swear to God, I probably could have read some more on this. But this is the team's formation. You got the one punch from Batman. You got the Red Rocket edition, and you
got the introduction of Gnort.
Gnort.
That's true.
Gnort.
And you see Hal Jordan just go, "Oh no!" And I think Superman or March Manor go, "What is?" And he just goes, "Oh no!"
One of my favorite issues is the one in Antarctica.
Oh yeah.
Justice League Antarctica.
Yeah.
And Nort's a member because they can't stand him. They sent him to Antarctica.
Well, in this one, when they ask who he is, and it's like, oh, his uncle was used to be an influential lantern, so he kind of forced him on it. So the Guardians gave him this sector because there's no life in it.
Yeah, that's so true. Yep. But in this international series, you find out he's the team tech brain. We got the blue and gold duo going on. And he's also the comic relief, and it was well done comic relief. It wasn't
really
overdone.
was.
Yeah.
So it was well done comic relief. So that's why I said 1 through. I only said 1 through 20 because I didn't want to say, "Oh, read the whole series." I didn't want to pull an Archduke Kevin and just say, "Read everything on this character because it's amazing." So that's where I went with
this. I pulled it. I said, "Read everything that's Giffen, DeMatteis, and."
You did. I didn't want to say it there, but yeah, he did. You pulled a Kevin.
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 Pulled my what?
Yeah. Pulled your Kelvin.
Yeah.
Nothing gets between you and your
Pulled my hamstring.
Yep. Pull your hamstring just thinking about it. All right, Chris. Who do you got for best writer and artist?
Come on, man.
Choose. You can only choose one for each. Do it now. Come on.
Well, you can't have Giffen without DeMatteis.
Yeah, they were a team.
Yeah, they were a team. Yep. So I would say, those two, and then McGuire. They're my go-tos. If I had to go someone else, it would of course be Johns because because he's awesome.
Yeah, true.
Or Jurgens.
Yeah, Dan Jurgens. Yeah, true. All right, Dan, how about you?
Well, I knew that Giffen and DeMatteis would be picked as writer by most of you, and that McGuire would be picked as artist. So, and they're all incredibly deserving. But knowing they're going to be picked, I decided to pick Johns for my writer because the way he wrote him in Countdown and the way he wrote him in the storyline in Booster Gold, and Dan Jurgens as the artist from the way that he drew him in the Booster Gold series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good picks.
Very good.
It's an awesome run.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to go Giffen and Matteis. I just think because the way they elevated those characters and just, they made one of the greatest friendships in comic history, and they made them, blue and gold a team. I mean, so much so that people get tattoos of them. So
who would do a thing like that? My God.
Yeah, I know who would do a thing like that.
Clowns.
And
you should get a tattoo of another one on one ass cheek of Blue Beetle like this, and then Booster Gold on the other one like this, and then when you clench, high-fiving.
When I clench my cheeks, the hands come together.
Yeah, they'll high-five each other.
Wow. And everybody would want to see that. That's for sure.
Hey, let me show you something.
Yep. So for artist was a little, a little trickier. I want to give love to, like Dan said, sometimes the interiors were inconsistent, but Paris Cullins did some really good work on Beetle. So I like what Paris Cullins did. I also like very much what Dan Jurgens did, but I think it's going to stick to the same game plan and say McGuire. So just because it was just, I just can't imagine those two characters without those guys doing it.
Right.
Look at Sal and Chris both looking down like that. It looks like they're both looking at the same dog.
We are.
I got my dog right here. She was just outside the door crying because she.
Now, if reality bend, was able to bend, and their dogs crossed over, then we'd have something.
I know. Yeah. Here you go, Chris.
Sal can't lift his dog like that.
No.
I've got a Dr. Pepper bottle I just finished. Public service announcement: Dr. Pepper cream soda is absolutely delicious.
It sounds good.
Okay. All right, so for my guys, I went with Giffen and DeMatteis as well, but I got to give a shout out to Rucka because I thought Rucka did a good, serious Ted Cord,
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
So, and
like
for best artist, I also went with McGuire, but I have Ditko in there as well because, he'll create the character too. So I went with that.
Well, there you go. Interesting. Nobody picked Ditko.
I had him as a
I wonder
second.
why.
Yeah.
Can't get this straight. What the?
Oh, that's right. He just did have Ditko. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the primary.
Yeah, it wasn't the primary, but I was
No.
because I like McGuire. I do. I like
I
this
do
stuff.
too.
So,
He's amazing.
but you can't go wrong with any of the people we picked tonight. I can tell you that much. What's my dog trying to do? I know.
Lick himself.
All right. No,
You know why?
Aren't we all?
Because he
No,
can't.
she's blind. She's almost blind now, and I think she's trying to figure out where she is. Poor pup.
Yes, Mr. Keith. I just saw it in the store today. I'm like, oh, that sounds like it might be good. Let me give that a try.
Yeah,
Dr. Pepper, which predates Coca-Cola.
it does. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can go ahead and wrap this one up, put it to bed, and call it a night. Thank you for everybody in the chat joining us tonight. Really appreciate everybody's input. You guys always have amazing stories and covers and badass moments as well, so I appreciate that. Chris, thank you for picking Blue Beetle. It was one character that I knew very little of until I got all that reading done and figured out that I want to read some more. So I was definitely trying to find that trade of blue and gold because I want to see.
He's fun.
Want to pick that
He's a
up.
fun
So,
character.
thank you very much. All right, folks. We will see you guys next week for top 10 law enforcement with a special guest star right next to me. And yes,
Can we like is Shield law enforcement? Is
Yes.
any type of law enforcement in comics
Brown Lanterns?
Mm-hmm.
is well, yeah.
No,
they're part of law enforcement.
You know what? I don't know that we should use any of the Green Lantern Corps, but I would say Shield is.
But not Brown Lantern.
We'll
Well,
do
maybe
it
it's
off
low enough
air
for-
so we don't spoil
Thanks, Liz.
it for anybody. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Liz. All right, folks. We will definitely see you
Percival Pop.
here Saturday night for Comics Unleashed. We'll show you what we've got picked up this week and any cool back issues. So take care. We'll see you guys